Bible book of Isaiah chapter 49, shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive of the just be delivered? Now is a question. Shall the prey be taken from the Almighty, from the mighty, or the lawful captive be delivered? Now the question is, shall the lawful captive be delivered? Now what does it mean to be a lawful captive? To be a lawful captive is only submit oneself to captivity, knowingly or ignorantly. Yes, to willingly submit yourself to captivity. Now, many youths today are actually lawful captive to certain desires, habits that they have conformed themselves and their mind into over time, and now it is very difficult for them to come out of it. Now, we are not talking about witches and wizards, daughters of your father's house now. Now, we are talking about something that many of us can actually relate with. Howbeit that little things that you did not pay attention to before, you actually started involving yourself in, daring little by little until the spirits that are in charge of those gates possess you, and now there are things that you can no longer get rid of. There are things that you can no longer live above. You now become a willful captive, a lawful captive, because you involved yourself in the process. You by yourself walk into captivity. For instance, someone who is addicted to pornography. It is that he started, probably stumbled on pornography by accident, or was led into it, and then he went back second time, the third time. Now, in his continuous viewing of it, the spirits in charge of pornography possessed him and made him a lawful captive, and now it is something that he cannot do without. It is something that she cannot do without, and you hear them say they are addicted to pornography. Or don't you know that there are spirits that are in charge of the gates of these phenomenon and entity? Same with substance abuse, same with alcohol addiction, same with smoking addiction. They did not just start overnight. They started with one stick of cigarette or weed or whatever, and then they graduated into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now they are addicted to it. The reason, or the moment you know that an entity is killing you silently and you are trying everything to stop, and you now discover that you are finding it difficult to stop it, despite the fact that you know this thing is killing you on the inside, and if I continue with it, the end thereof is going to be disastrous, but you just find yourself helpless, unable to do something about it. You are a lawful captive. You are a lawful captive. And then the most unfortunate situation of it all is that you actually walked your way into captivity. So the powers that be therein are justified for keeping you in captivity, because you decided or you willingly submitted yourself to captivity. That is what pornography addiction can do to you. That is what drug addiction, substance abuse and addiction does to the life of a man. it makes you a lawful captive. Yes, I remember growing up, there is this particular guy, yes, in our street, in our neighborhood, that always send me to go buy cigarettes as a child. And each time I bought the cigarettes and I give to him, he tells me, don't do these things. These things that you see me do, please don't do them. First time, second time, the third time, the fourth time. Each time he sends me on an errand to go buy cigarettes and I return, the thing he tells me is, don't do these things. And then one day I decided to ask him, why are you telling me not to do it when you yourself, you are not stopping it? Why don't you stop it? And he said, it is not easy like that. And he looked at me, he smiled. It was a painful smile and said, you will not understand. But as I grew older, I now began to understand what the pain behind the smile that told me you will not understand. Are you a lawful captive? Now you hear people say that we have gone to prayer mountains, I have gone for deliverance, they have laid hands on me, they have laid legs on me, they have done this, they have done that, but at the end of the day, nothing. Hi. That does not mean prayer is ineffective. That does not mean deliverance is ineffective. That does not mean that the power of God is no longer real. It is that you are a lawful captive. And in situations like this, for you to be set free, you must rebel. That is the only way you can be set free as a lawful captive. In the time of old, when the African heritage were taken as captives to foreign lands to work as slaves, despite the fact that they outnumbered their masters, but they were subjected to obedience in chains, because they know that these people can revolt and rebel against them, so they kept them in chains. They kept them in chains. Now, dearly beloved, for you to be free as a lawful captive, prayers and fasting and deliverance, they are good and they are working perfectly, but they will not be effective in the life of a lawful captive if he or she does not know how to rebel. So that when that feelings that is pushing you to take your phone and search the internet for porn start rising, you will rebel against it and say not anymore. So that when your body moves and then your mind is suggesting to you masturbation, you will stand and you will rebel and say, I used to do it before, but not anymore. That is how you are set free. And then triggers will come. Yes, you know, because you have subjected your body to this act for a very long time, and now you want to stop. The body will fight against it. Because the body is already used to it. The body is already used to the pleasure or the ecstasy that comes with it. But if you don't rebel, there is no new year, new me. You will just continue in the old path and still become a slave to yourself and to your feelings and to your addictions. So that when the desire to view porn comes, you rebel against it. You take your phones, you switch them off, you throw them away. I do not mean throw them in the trash can. You keep them away. So that when your body moves and then it's telling you that is Vaseline, that is lotion, do the needful, what you have been doing over time. It is that you rebel, you quickly put on your clothes and you dash out of the house. Leave the isolated place where you are. Take a walk around the neighborhood. That is how you are set free. And of course, you don't undermine the power and the help of God in situations like this. You don't undermine and underestimate the power of God in situations like this. But if you will know that you want freedom from the inside, most times what you need to do is to rebel against yourself. Think about these things.